Hello, it is Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. It's around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and this is actually a hard one for me to record. I've had a tough day, but more of an emotional and mentally, spiritually tough day. I had a palliative um, intake appointment earlier today. It was scheduled for some time, and I was worried about it because I just wasn't sure how it was going to go or what the conversation, this discussion was going to look like, or what this was going to be all about. Palliative up to this point for me, I've understood it as, end of care, end of life. I meant to say end of life discussions and planning, future planning, like that kind of thing. And in fact, the definition of that, I think, has grown. The idea of what palliative care is, I think, from what it was initially, is what I now understand. But at the same time, I was just very nervous about this meeting or appointment. Initially, it was supposed to be at Princess Margaret Hospital, in their department, the palliative department, but because of COVID and what's going on, it was switched to online, which I'm actually very thankful for. At least I got to be at home for it rather than be at the hospital, I think. And I think that, any number of situations or any number of things could go, in a lot of different ways. I was, like I mentioned, nervous about it, so I didn't sleep particularly well, but I also had some digestive distress from some constipation from the medication that decided to relieve itself overnight, so I didn't sleep very well. I think worrying about this appointment, but also what was going on for me digestively. So I didn't sleep great. And then I was nervous about this appointment. I had Joe with me, and also a really good family friend on the line as well, just to help us, to be a witness and support. And I spoke with her, texted with her, a little beforehand, and and she talked about how, like, comfort care is part of palliative, which is also what's in the if you look stuff up online, that's what they'll talk about. But I just was nervous about it. And then before the appointment, so it was at 10:30 this morning. Before the appointment, I got I guess, like a pre-call before the appointment itself from one of the folks in the department, and she was so lovely and kind and empathetic and warm, and it sort of actually helped sort of put some of my worries at ease. I kept telling her how nervous I was about it, and she's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Well, because I don't know what to expect, and I don't know, what kind of conversation it's going to be." And but just from like just having a conversation with her and her demeanor and how she was with me, I felt a little bit more comforted about how the appointment was going to go. Um, and so it was helpful to have that conversation beforehand. But the appointment itself was really hard, really hard. And I think it's maybe because it just wasn't a good fit with that particular doctor, is very, he seemed like he was uncomfortable and sort of in distress. So that didn't help me feel any more comforted by it. And I think his approach, or his way of being is maybe not suited to me. I'm someone who um, likes to talk about how I'm feeling and how I'm doing, as you probably have seen from these videos. And a lot of the conversation was around pain management and things like that, which is, totally understandable. But there were some things that came up that or just the way in which it was brought up, that was really hard for me. Just maybe the way that he just described, the how the giving an example of the need for a power of attorney, for people to make decisions on my behalf when maybe I'm not able to, and sort of the examples, I guess, the example that he had given was very distressing to me. And he didn't seem to notice that I was distressed, or that it was really uncomfortable for me. And so I think, like, at the end of the day, it was just not a good fit, and it really put me in a really hard kind of place mindset wise. I'm also still pretty tired from the chemo that I received yesterday, or sorry, this past weekend, I guess. So yeah, so there was a lot of conversation around like pain management and a lot of like medicating. And as I've found, like, Princess Margaret isn't, and they don't have an integrated program that kind of looks at, more holistically, how to manage care for folks with cancer. And so that's a little bit challenging for me, because I'm a very holistically, I think, minded, or holistically kind of attuned person. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to turn the camera on and just say that, yeah, like, it was a tough, it was tough anticipating it. It was a tough meeting, and I'm in a bit of a hard place because of it. But the one thing I also wanted to say is, so having along with Joe, a family friend who was on the call with me, provided me the opportunity to have a witness, and she got to see how I was experiencing the call from her perspective, and also for her to see how the doctor was, and also to see how I was with him, and perhaps how he was with me. And she was able to like witness and validate for me that it just clearly wasn't a fit for me. And it was really helpful for me to have had her witness my experience, so that I know, like, that what I felt and what I had gone through wasn't just in my mind, like I didn't just imagine it. Joe also was like, he wasn't, very particularly warm and empathetic. He was very clinical, and I could see how, that isn't really your thing. It's not how you operate, and you can see how upset I was, and and I think it was, a tough thing for him too, clearly, like some of the stuff that was talked about. So, the one thing I think as a takeaway from this is that, and something that I've been learning throughout this whole thing, is the importance of self-advocating. At the end of the day, there aren't there's whatever's happening for me health wise and with my cancer. I could do what I can based on the choices that I have, but I also have some choices in regards to the care that I receive, and perhaps the folks and the team that I have around me. And I'm sure the person that I spoke to today is a fine person and a good fit for maybe some patients, but I don't think he is the right person to be a part of my team for me in this way, just because of like how distressed I feel. And I feel like the idea behind um, palliative in the way in which I think that they're approaching it is supposed to actually decrease distress as opposed to increase it. So it's going to be, I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm going to request that I be able to work with somebody else, because this was just such a hard experience for me, and I'm just been it's been a tough few hours um, just for me mentally. But I, you know, um, I know that I may be coming across, that I'm doing well and fine and all of that. There's, sometimes when it's tough, and I hope I've been showing that. But yeah, so today I just wanted to make sure to record and to capture it, because this is part of the journey. But also, I think overarchingly that your experience is valid, and if you are feeling that something isn't right for you, especially in this kind of a way. But I think there's a larger message here too, that having witnesses first and foremost is also a really great way of getting the support that you need, because sometimes you can kind of get into your head and feel like, oh, like this is just something that I'm making up, or this is something that I'm thinking and feeling, and maybe it's not worth pursuing or worth changing in some way. But today was an incredible example of the need to have people support you and to witness what's happening for you, and to also to hold you up, to let you know that you have choices, that this isn't, it's not just that you have to just take what's given to you. So I hope to be able to talk to some people and maybe see whether or not it's possible for me to get another doctor in the palliative department. And but again, I'm just sort of all over the place, and I apologize for that. That yeah, that every one of us, whenever we're able to have choices and to be able to make the choices that's right for us, I think it's important to do, and to have trusted people around you who can support you in that. So I'll leave you with that today. I continue to um, I marvel at the loving care that I have been experiencing from so many people, from so many different places, and in so many different ways. And I so thankful. Thank you so much. And every bit of it, I may not necessarily be doing it actively, but please know that it's appreciated, and I'm giving it right back, all the loving care that I have. So thank you so much, and I'll talk to you again real soon.